Thank you for staying with us. It's Health. This Tuesday, we have Toyin Lulu Ogumadi, the founder of Precious Conceptions, and we're talking about understanding your fertility advantage. Now, she's on a mission to demystify infertility and eradicate the societal stigma attached to surrogacy through advocacy, education, and awareness. It is great to have you. You are welcome.
Thank you.
All right, so you are a fertility expert. Right, and let's see now. There's a stigma attached, like you mentioned earlier, to surrogacy and all of that. How is from your own angle to how's societal perception? How exactly is this level of stigma that is attached to surrogacy?
Okay, because people don't talk about it, so a lot of people don't think it exists, but it does exist. And unfortunately, a lot of the people who go through it do not want to share about it because they think, oh,
how we as a people.
It's a private thing, something you can't do in your bedroom yourself. And then people now know about it as your difficulty, as your challenge. And now you're saying, oh, you had to go through surrogacy. So people don't understand that concept of surrogacy. And where ignorance thrives, then there's a lot of stigma.
All right. Okay, so we're talking about fertility now, boosting your fertility and all of that. What ways can that be done?
Well, in the past weeks, we've talked about changing your lifestyle, your diet, looking at the treatment option that works for you, and realizing that it's not only you, on this journey. There are at least 1 in 8 couples of fertility years that suffer, some form of infertility or some form of childbearing delay. So you're not the only one on this journey, and you should always seek help as much as possible.
Yes. Now, something people associate with this is that they feel it is always very expensive. Is that the case?
It is, because unfortunately it is around the world. It is. And there are a lot of things that come to play when you talk about treatment options. Okay. Unfortunately, even those treatments are not 100% guaranteed. So you have people who go through various cycles of treatments. Various IVF treatments, cycles, over and over again to achieve, their purpose. So it consumes whatever little means of, resources. Now,
what is the best chance a woman or a couple can give to themselves naturally? Like, we know what's spoken about diet, foods, and all of that.
Yes.
What is the best way you can stand instead without, naturally?
Start early. If you want to delay conception, delay it with wisdom. If you don't want to delay, then start early. Because for a woman, age is the #1 thing that is against her. Her eggs are older than her. So we say start early. And once you are married, 6 months, you are not seeing anything, and you're over 35, please go to a fertility specialist. If you're under 35, you can wait 12 months before you start seeking help. But don't let it delay beyond 1 year. Seek help. Because a lot of these things, if caught early, can be reversed. Okay. And you can still conceive spontaneously, by yourself on your own in your bedroom. But if you now delay, then it's dangerous. And then you now have so many things that come up.
Oh, yes, exactly. Now, it gets to the point of alternative methods. People who do unorthodox medicine and all of that, they want to go to... We have a number of people who want to try that.
Yes,
are there any pros? What are the cons of seeking alternative remedies?
You see, you can expose yourself to so many dangers because you don't know where these people are coming from. You get, and diagnostic, they don't have enough diagnostic tools. Do you understand? And a lot of the medicines they use are not, you can't really measure them, you can't quantify, you can't put them in doses. I'm not saying some don't work, but there are a lot of quacks out there and you have to be careful, which is where I tell people you have to understand your fertility advantage. What is it that works for you? For you as How do you recognize that thing that will work for you?
How can you find it out?
Okay, so when somebody is going through infertility, there's so many disadvantages. For some people, it's the male factor. For some people, it's the female factor. Okay? But what we find is that people flog... Now, take, for example, my own situation. I had to go through surrogacy because I had an issue with my uterus. Now, some other people will not readily embrace that and want to keep trying. So they keep flogging that issue that is wrong. They keep flogging that difficulty they have, hoping that they'll be able to flip it and twist it into, a positive outcome. But I tell people, look at the advantage you have. And what is your advantage? It is that thing that gives you success, that thing that stands you out, that thing that will work to your advantage. And if you don't have it, you can buy it, you can borrow it. Do you understand? And you can build it up. So for instance, in my own case, I didn't have a viable uterus to carry a child, and I need one.
Okay.
So I had to borrow one through surrogacy.
Through surrogacy, okay.
Now, some other people will need the egg. Her eggs are old, or something is wrong with her genetically. She can't pass it on to her child. You'll tell that woman, get an egg donor. So she's compensating that egg donor. It's under buy. She's not particularly buying the egg.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
But she's also taking it, she's borrowing it, she's using it to play to her advantage. You'll find some men that they're shooting blanks. It's not that they are not producing, but they can't conduct, they can't release it. So you put some men through surgery and they're fine. But some men, you have to go a bit further and you do some aspiration process. You draw it out from their testes and you use their sperms for IVF. That becomes the advantage. So you need to recognize what the situation is that is not working for you, and then how you can flip it so that you have some form of advantage and work towards success.
You know, because of the diversity of courses when it comes to infertility and all of that, I wanted to ask, maybe, you know, for people to have an idea of financial cost and all of that, but that's going to be hard. Maybe let's say the common ones. Can people have an idea of maybe the financial, what it would take financially to sort of things like this? Okay,
there's so many treatment options.
Okay.
And what works for you might not be what will work for some other person.
Definitely.
Okay, but if we look at the common ART treatments that are out here, you have artificial insemination, which is about the cheapest. You can get that for about 300, 350.
And that's the cheapest?
That's about the cheapest.
Wow.
Okay. And then you go into IVF, which is like the high level. You can get for 1.5, 1.7, 2.1. But
per treatment?
Yes, per cycle.
Per cycle.
But then when you have to repeat it, it becomes more expensive.
It becomes...
When you now have to go through variants, like using egg donors, like using surrogate mothers, then it becomes more expensive. Okay, so that's why we talk to people, if you can still reverse a lot of these things naturally.
That you do what you can. You didn't mention a surrogate. Using a surrogate, what's the average expense?
Be ready for like a 7 million.
Wow.
Yes, because you're taking care of your IVF treatment, you're taking care of surrogate expenses, you're taking care of her upkeep, the agency that will manage, you're taking care of legal and background checks, you're taking care of the pregnancy and then the delivery. Usually a surrogate delivery is through cesarean section. Okay. So you're taking care of all of that, and you're just hoping and praying that that first cycle will work. Now, of course, those payments are in installments. You don't go up and dump that all at once.
So
they're milestones. So as you achieve a particular milestone.
Over the course of a pregnancy period. So you're looking at 9 months to a year. That's something that you can pay over.
About a year, yes. And you can work towards that. You can work towards that. Yes.
Okay, so what's your final word now? It's before. Is there anything people can do, say, before they even get married and all of that? I know there's a case of even women who get to store eggs maybe for a later date if they don't want to have kids now. Maybe they are getting to a point whereby it's going to be naturally almost impossible. What can people do? Like you mentioned the advantage before marriage and all of that to give themselves the best chance.
Your lifestyle, basically.
Your lifestyle, exactly.
Your lifestyle. Smoking, drinking, exposure to chemicals, pollutants. They don't augur well for fertility. Okay. Then your diet, your nutrition, your diet. You have to be deliberate about the things you eat and the things you don't eat, because some of the things you don't eat, some of the nutrients you don't take in, might form a deficiency in your system. So once you are balanced in terms of your wellness, your nutrition, your faith in the Lord, and then you begin to plan. You know that you're planning to get married, you're planning to have children. And you get education, you get counseling, you get some advisory services. Hey.
When it comes to nutrition, that's something, of course, we've had different segments on nutrition on this show. That's something that many people don't really think is something. You just put up anything that you have into your mouth and throw it down. A lot of these things we eat are poison, unfortunately. Especially when it's processed, yeah?
Yes. Some are over-processed. Some are laden with chemicals and toxins, and your body has to find a way naturally to detoxify. And if you're not able to do that regularly, it just builds up in your body system and shoots out in so many things. Infertility is one of the areas that can shoot out from.
All right, thank you very much. It was great. That was quite an expose. It was great having you on the show this morning. I hope you were able to pick up something out there. That advantage, like she said, is about working to finding out where you have an advantage and trying to amplify that particular advantage.
Exactly.
To start to give yourself the best stead when it comes to conceiving and all of that. Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.